This is page 12 of the Compound Interest Workbook, Loan Repayment Tables. The table below shows monthly repayments required to repay each $1,000 of a housing loan at various monthly reducible rates. Now, even though, for example, here the interest rate per annum is 4.5% per annum, this repayment of $1,000 over 10 years, this has been compounded monthly. So, for example, this 6%, 6 divided by 12, that's actually the equivalent of 0.5% per month, but they haven't shown the monthly rate. They're still putting the rate per annum, but all of these values here have been compounded monthly. Okay, so you don't need to go changing anything. All right, now, example 1. As I said here, this is the repayment for every $1,000 of a loan. So in example 1, Peter borrows $200,000 to buy a home unit, and the bank charges 5% per annum monthly reducible interest, and the term of the loan is 15 years. So 5%, 15 years, $7.91 is paid each month for every $1,000 of the housing loan. So for every $1,000 that you borrow, you're paying $7.91 every month, okay, over those 15 years. So his monthly repayments will be, now how many thousands do we have there? 200,000, so that's 200,000 divided by 1,000, we've got 200 lots. So we've got 200 lots of that $7.91. So each monthly repayment is $1,582. How much does he repay altogether on this loan? Well, if he's paying $1,582 a month and he's repaying the loan over 15 years, well, there's 12 months in a year. So 1,582 times 12 is what he pays back in 1 year, but then we need to times that by 15. So he pays back $284,760 over the 15 years. For part C, how much interest will he pay? Well, he's borrowed $200,000 and he's paid back $284,000. So the interest is $284,760 minus the $200,000, which is $84,760 in interest. And question D says express the interest charged as a percentage of the amount borrowed. Well, the interest is $84,760. The amount borrowed is $200,000, so that's the interest charged as a fraction of the amount borrowed. To change it to a percentage, we times it by 100. 42.38% interest. Now, last bit of the question, and that's not rounded as well. Last bit of the question is to calculate the yearly flat interest rate. I mean, we can do this two ways. First, I'm going to start with the simple interest formula because it's a flat interest rate. That's always simple interest formula. I equals PRN. We know that the interest is $84,760. We know that the principal is $200,000. R we don't know, and N is 15 years. So calculating that, R will be 84,760 divided by whatever 2,000 times 15, 200,000 times 15 is. And 200,000 times 15 is 3 million. And so R is 84,760 divided by 3 million, which is 0.02825. Now, to two decimal places, this is 2.825. Actually, that's not to two decimal places. That's to 3, so it's 2.83%. Now, there was actually another way that I could have just worked this out. Because this interest rate charged as a percentage of the amount borrowed was 42.38%, and that was over 15 years, I can just go 42.38% divided by 15 will tell me how much interest is charged per 1 year. So 42.38 divided by 15 is 2.8253 recurring, which is 2.83%. to 2 decimal places. Example 2. Geraldine borrowed $185,000 at 5.25% per annum monthly reducible interest to buy a half share in a home unit with her sister. How much money would Geraldine save if she paid the loan off over 15 years rather than 20 years? So let's see the repayments over 15 years. Now, we're looking at $185,000, 5.25% per annum, firstly, 15 years. 5.25% per annum is here with 15 years. That's 8.04. So $8.04 is paid each month for every $1,000 borrowed. So how many thousands of dollars are borrowed? It's 185,000. So it's 185 times that 8.04. Now that's 1 month repayment. That's the monthly repayment. So that's for 1 month. For 1 month. Times it by 12 gives me 1 year, and times that by 15. So we've got $185. So per month it's $1,487.40, and we're going to times it by 12 and then by 15. And so the total repayments are $267,732. The repayments over 20 years, so at the same interest rate, 5.25%. See, the longer you take to pay something, the more interest you'll pay back. So 5.25% over 20 years, that's $6.74 a month for every $1,000 that you borrow. But there's 185,000, so it's 185 times 6.74. That's for 1 month, times 12 months in a year, times 20, because there are 20 years. So it's 185 times 6.74. So the monthly repayment is less. It's $1,246.90. But instead of 15 times 12, in the above case was 180 months, we've actually got 12 times 20. 20 years is actually 240 months. So we've got 1,246.90 times 240 months. And we've got $299,256. So you actually do end up paying more the longer your loan is, because you're paying more interest, or because you're paying for longer, you end up paying more interest, okay? And so the extra amount that you'll pay will be $299,256 minus $267,732, which is, I'm just working that out, $31,524 is the extra amount of interest that you will pay if you pay it off over 20 years instead of 15 years. So in those extra 5 years, you'll be paying an extra $31,000 roughly in interest. Example 3, William took out a housing loan at 6.5% per annum, monthly reducible interest over 20 years, and over the term of the loan, he repaid the bank $572,928. They're asking us how much did he borrow. So this is like a working backwards question. So let's look at 6.5% per annum, 20 years, and see what we can find. So 6.5% per annum, 20 years. 20 years, 6.5% per annum. $7.46 is the monthly repayment for each $1,000 borrowed. So repayments are $7.46 per month for each $1,000 borrowed. But because this loan's being paid over 20 years, let's see how many months there are in 20 years. So 20 years equals 20 times 12, which is 240 months. Now, over the term of the loan, he repaid the bank $572,928 over the 240 months. So the monthly repayment is 572,928 divided by 240. Now, we just have to see how many $7.46s go into that. So 2387.20 divided by $7.46, and we get 320. So 2387.20 divided by $7.46 is 320. So therefore, he borrowed. Remember, you're paying $7.46 a month for each $1,000 borrowed. There were 320 lots of 1,000, so he borrowed $320,000. Okay? So that's a sort of working backwards one. The next question was, how much interest did he pay? Well, if he's paid back $572,928 and he's borrowed $320,000, so the interest will be just subtracting those two quantities. So take away $320,000. So that will be $252,928. And now for the equivalent flat yearly interest rate. He's paid $252,928 over 20 years. We can do this two ways. We can either use the simple interest formula, I equals PRN, with interest $252,928. The principal is $320,000 times the rate is what we're trying to find, and N, the number of years, is 20. So we're trying to find the equivalent flat yearly interest rate. So that's using the simple interest formula. So R will be 252,928 divided by whatever 320,000 times 20 years. I'm actually just going to put them both down here. And we get dividing that answer by 320,000 and dividing it by 20 as well, we're getting a rate of 0.03952, and changing that to a percentage, it's 3.95% to two decimal places. Okay, so that's that one there, 3.95%. Now for example 4. The graph on the right shows the benefit of making more frequent payments on a loan. In each case, the loan amount is $100,000, so notice that they both started off at $100,000. Looks like Rita's paid it off quicker than Chris, okay? Now, so in each case, the loan is $100,000. The interest rate is the same. It's 9.25% per annum monthly reducible. Chris makes one repayment of $822 a month, while Rita makes separate repayments of $411 a fortnight. Now, remember there's a fortnight is 14 days, and 2 fortnights is 411 plus 411 is 822. 2 fortnights is only 28 days, but 822 a month. Months are often more than 28 days. The only time a month is 28 days is in February if it's not a leap year. Notice that by paying fortnightly, $411 a month, you're reducing the amount owing on the loan quicker. Okay, so question A, does each person repay the same amount each month? The answer is no, because Chris pays exactly $822 a month, but Rita pays more than $411 times 2, which is $822 a month. The reason is because 2 fortnights is less than 1 month. Okay? I mean, if you want to work out the equivalent of what Rita pays per month, you would do, so what Rita actually pays per month is $411. You'd times that by 26 to get the yearly amount, and then you would divide it by 12. So Rita is actually paying the equivalent of $411 times 26 divided by 12. So she's actually paying $890.50 approximately a month. Okay, now the next question is, how much sooner than Chris does Rita pay off her loan? Well, Chris pays it off in 30 years and Rita in 21 years 6 months. So it's 30 years minus 21 years 6 months. So that's 8 years 6 months, because remember there's 12 months in a year. So if you add 6 months, you've got 22 years, and another 8 gives you 30 years. The next question is, how much interest does she save over the term of the loan? Well, let's just work out what Chris pays. Chris pays $822 a month, so $822 times 12 is what he pays in a year, but then he pays for 30 years. So that's his total repayments. So his total repayments are $822 times 12 times 30, because he makes repayments for 30 years, so he pays back $295,920. Notice they're only borrowing $100,000. Now, what does Rita pay back? She pays back $411 a fortnight. So we have to see how many fortnights are in 21 years, 6 months. So 21 years, each year has 26 fortnights. So the number of fortnights, I'm just going to work that out here. 21 years, 6 months is 21.5 years. And if we want to see how many fortnights in that, we'll just times that by 26, because there's 26 fortnights a year. So 21.5 times 26 is the number of fortnights, which is 559. Okay? So that's how many fortnights there are in 21 years, 21 and a half years. So Rita is $411 a fortnight times, I can go 21.5 times 26, which we know is 559. And that answer is $229,749. So how much does she save? We'll subtract. So the savings will be the difference between those two total repayments. And I've got $66,171. The effect of making fortnightly payments rather than monthly repayments is that there is a big saving in the amount of interest paid back, and the loan is repaid in a shorter amount of time. Okay, so there's a big benefit, therefore, in paying fortnightly rather than monthly. You can just say the interest paid back is reduced rather than there is a big saving in the amount of interest paid, so the interest is reduced. Or by, in this case, $66,171, and it's repaid in 8.5 years less. Okay, that's the end of that booklet.